If I had to start from zero on Amazon in 2025, no brand, no money, no products, this is exactly how I go from 0 to 1 million. And honestly, I do it faster than we did when we first started. We started the same way, no brand, no connections, and focusing on the Amazon wholesale model. We scaled the Amazon business step by step, eventually doing over $35 million in total sales. In this video, I'm gonna break down the exact strategy I'd use if I had to start again, how to find profitable products, how to lock in brand deals, and how to build your business to your first 10K or even $100,000 a month without needing to do drop shipping or launching your own brand or walking around stores scanning the clearance aisle for products to resell. All right, so here's step one. First, I apologize for the white background. I just moved, but we'll have the office set up soon. But to get this started, one of the most important things that you can do when you first start is picking the right business model. I can't tell you how many times I hear people saying, hey, I want to sell on Amazon, and they don't even know what that means. Well, what do you want to sell on Amazon?
Well, I don't know. Amazon makes money. I want to jump in the game.
And the thing about it is there are a ton of ways to make money on Amazon. You can do things like print on demand. You can be an affiliate marketer. You can launch your own brand. You could be doing arbitrage. You can be literally buying products from retail stores and selling them back on Amazon for a profit. Or you can do what we do, which is the wholesale business model. Now, it's important to understand what your goals are and what's going to get you there. I had a meeting with a lady last week. I'm not going to call her by name, but we had a meeting and she was pretty much feeling stuck in her private label business. She had been trying to scale it up over pretty much the past year, and she wasn't seeing a ton of success. It took her months to get the product from China, another month or so to set up the listing, get everything in order, and now she was literally losing money month after month by spending money on PPC ads on Amazon. When I asked her, well, was the goal of your business to have your own brand that you can possibly exit down a few years down the line? She was like, no, I just wanted to have more cash flow in my pocket. She had taken the hardest route for new e-commerce sellers to jump in the game. I'm speaking from experience. When my partner first got started, he launched his own, it was like a tea cup company. It was like this glass jar called Tea Genie, where you could put the tea leaves in it, pour the hot water in there, and walk around and it'll keep it hot, and you could just interchange the tea leaves. Thought it would blow up, right? Data looked good. Didn't account for all the marketing costs that really brought him down. So I always say this, when you're jumping into the space, understand what your goal is. When I first got started, my goal was simple. I was working 80 to 90 hours per week. I wanted something that I can operate in 1 to 2 hours per day, and I needed cash flow. I didn't have time to waste or money to risk. This is why I hone in so much on the wholesale model. And I got this idea from a guy called Sam Walton. If you don't know who Sam Walton is the founder of Walmart. From 1982 to 1992. This guy, Sam Walton, was the wealthiest man on this planet. The only thing that's dethroned him was him passing away. When he passed away, Bill Gates became the wealthiest man. And Sam Walton's children became the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth wealthiest people on this planet. Now, you might say, okay, so what's so cool about that? It's not just about how much money he made. It's about how he made his money. Let's think about Walmart. Sam Walton became the wealthiest man by starting Walmart. Walmart, most of the products that people go and buy from Walmart are not brands that Walmart created. They're literally just playing the middleman role. When I go there and I get some Red Bull or some coffee or even a couch or something, it's not a brand that Walmart did the branding for, the marketing for, literally anything except put it on their shelf. This is what we look to replicate in our Amazon business. So we want to play the middleman role. Amazon has built-in traffic, right? People are already going to the listings that we're selling on, buying them month after month, year after year, sometimes millions of dollars per month. If we could just get our piece of the pie, we're able to generate cash flow without adding on any risk. So it's important to understand what you're getting into the business. If it's cash flow, nothing comes close to the wholesale model. Now, the next thing is where a lot of people kind of screw up is, yeah, they get into wholesale, but they do this weird thing where they start looking at the top of the market, the brands like Nike, Under Armour, brands that do literally multi-8 figures per month. I'm talking like $40 to $50 million per month on Amazon. And then they wonder why they can't get products at the right price, they can't negotiate discounts, they can't get approved to sell these brands. Here's the reality. When you go with these big monstrosities of brands, when you're coming in with a smaller budget, and honestly a small budget to them is anything under a few $100,000, they don't care about you. You don't move the needle in their business. You don't have any value to provide them. So why would they go out of their way to give you discounts and roll out the red carpet for you? It just doesn't happen. That's the reality. So what you want to do is when you first jump in the game is you want to work with smaller brands. I always say this, the smaller the better. Even us, we're doing multiple 8 figures per year. Literally, I love brands that do under $3 million per month because I can get in contact with the decision maker. I can talk to the person that's going to be able to actually authorize the deal, give me discounts, give me volume deals, all of these things that I can't get from these big behemoths of brands. So I was thinking about this, the smaller the better. If you're on a budget for like 5, 10K in inventory, go to brands that do under 300,000 per month. And you can use a tool called smartscout.com to actually identify these winning brands and get in contact with them. Now, once you found around these smaller brands. The next thing you want to do is focus on just 1 to 2 categories. Don't start jumping around. Amazon has over 396,000 different brands. You just want to pick one category, smaller brands, and focus all your time on getting into business with them. Once you're able to identify those brands, this is the difference in 2025 that honestly, if I made this video about a year and a half ago, I would have changed this part. When you identify these brands, what I used to say is, hey, go to distributors and actually find distributors to get them from. But what we see in 2025, a main change in Amazon is they are looking to work directly with brands and their authorized sellers. What that means is they don't want you buying from Joe Schmo on eBay and reselling on their platform, because what it's led to is a lot of unauthorized sellers on these listings selling fake product. And that's Amazon's biggest fear. As they grow, the chance for fake products getting into their system just becomes higher and higher. Their barrier to entry is so low that you can literally just get an LLC, open up a business bank account, and become a seller about 48 hours later. So anybody can do it, and anybody can sell on their platform. So they want to be able to verify that you are selling legitimate product. And how you do that is by going directly to brands and their authorized distributors. Now, where people kind of bump their head on this one is they say, hey, how do I know which brands to go after? I see smaller brands, but which one should I go after? Here's what you gotta do. Look for brands that have resellers on them already. Brands that have 3 or more sellers on them, generally speaking, are okay with people reselling their products on Amazon. So don't go for brands that have 1 to 2 sellers. Those are usually exclusive deals, or the brand is selling themselves directly. But when you look for ones that have 3 or more, you're able to jump in the door and become one of their authorized resellers. Now, people always say this, why would a brand want me to resell on Amazon? Why can't they just do it themselves? Here, we gotta open up our mind a little bit. The thing about the e-commerce space is not every brand is Amazon focused. A lot of brands, they care more about what's going on in their retail stores. They care more about what's going on Shopify. They care more about what's going on TikTok, right? They care more about what's going on in their Walmart account, all these other things. So not every brand is focused on Amazon. So you'll see a lot of brands that just have Amazon listings there. They don't care about it. It's generating money, not even for them, for their resellers, but they have no idea what's going on and they really don't care to. So we want to identify brands like that allow for resellers and honestly don't really care what's going on the Amazon platform. Now, once you're able to identify those brands, keep it simple. Right? When I started this business, I was working, like I said, 90 hours per week often. I didn't have a lot of time. So what I would do is I would round up about 40 different brands and send them all a bulk email looking to do business with them. Now, the thing about this is, like most businesses, when you're doing something called cold outreach, or reaching out to people that don't know, like, or trust you, not everyone's gonna wanna do business with you. That's A-okay. What we look for is, for every 100 brands that we reach out to via email, we look to lock in about 10 deals, right? And from there, the goal is super simple. You just want to get your money in the market as quick as humanly possible. As long as you start generating some income, right? Then we can start getting more selective about, hey, maybe I should go for this brand instead of this one. Maybe I should cut this one off. But your first goal, keep it super simple. I'm looking to get in the market, put my 10, 15,000, whatever I have in there as quick as possible and have it generate me a return. Amazon's a master at that, right? When you're buying products, we're only gonna buy about 4 to 6 weeks worth of inventory. So you'll be able to get your money back plus like a 30 to 40% ROI if you're doing it right every 4 to 6 weeks. Don't get too picky, get money in the market. Now, after you have those 10 brands, some of them are gonna be pulling majority of your profit, some of them are gonna be lagging behind. Now we can get more selective. The name of the game here is stay in stock with your winners and look to expand with those brands and replace the losers with more winning product, right? As you do this, your business will grow in revenue and profit simultaneously. It's a game that we just play every single month. The next thing you wanna do is, now you're at a point where you're making money. You might be making 10, 20K a month, whatever the number may be. Next thing you wanna do, because we're going to 1 million, remember this, is now we start actually playing with the numbers. So let's say you have a brand that you locked in that's doing 100 to 200,000 a month, right? Relatively small brand. Here's the name of the game. You wanna be able to identify that brand's biggest bottleneck. Every brand has them. And this is so different than what I would have said a few years ago, because the name of the game back then was get as many different brands, as many different products as possible. Scale what I call horizontally through a bunch of different brands. Now the name of the game, as Amazon is continuing to change and favor pretty much the authorized sellers, is scale vertically. What that means is once you have a brand that you're making some money with, let's say the brand is doing about 200,000 a month total, and you're maybe making 10, 20K of those sales, right? As one of the sellers. The goal is, hey, this brand at 200,000, something is limiting them from getting to 400,000, 500,000. If you could identify that bottleneck and provide them with ways to actually increase their sales, you can now partner with these brands. Now, what we look to when we partner with a brand is called exclusivity. We want to be the sole seller or maybe one or two on that listing, because now instead of building a new relationship, we're able to take that same one that was generating us $20K per month up to now generating us, hey, if we're doing all of these sales, we're doing $200,000 per month with this one brand. And then from there, we are able to scale our business with just a handful of different brands. The thing about it is it doesn't take that many brands to scale to $1 million per month. The thing is, when you get in for a brand, you want to identify how much it's doing total on the marketplace, take a little piece of the pie, and then identify ways where you can actually pitch them exclusivity. Some brands will need help with running their ads. Some brands will need help with their listing. Some brands will need help with you creating different bundles and new listings for them. And some brands will need help with off Amazon traffic. So there's a ton of ways to get into business with brands, but it's all about actually increasing your skill set to be able to identify what their bottleneck is and present it in a way where you are the solution to them. Once you're doing this, it's just a numbers game, right? More brand outreach, more brand relationships, deeper connections with those brands, your business scales. It's so much simpler than, I thought when I first started. Year one in business, we did about $860,000 in 2020. And year two, we were able to actually 4X that. And it was simply by following this very simple blueprint. More brands, more products, more money. And here's the kicker, right? Here's the thing that completely changed the freaking game for us. And not enough people talk about it. When people get into business, your goal is not to give yourself another job. We're not trying to be employees and shackled down in our business. We are trying to have time and monetary freedom. And how we do this is by outsourcing. The thing that allowed us to go from 860,000 to 3.3 mil in just a year was outsourcing. I was actually making more money and working less hours. And how we were doing that was by locking in virtual assistants to do 99% of the work. So here's what you want to do. As you're going through this whole process, finding new brands, doing the outreach, etc., document everything. I prefer a tool called Loom. I just screen record everything I do, and then I send that off to my virtual assistant so they can just replicate what I do next time. Every single thing that in your business you want to document so you can actually give it to a virtual team to do the work. To get to $1 million a year, you probably need 1 to 2 virtual assistants. And the beautiful thing about it is if you're getting them, we prefer the Philippines or Pakistan, but you can actually pay this virtual assistant maybe just $2 to $5 per hour to do the work. Do some math. $2 per hour, 8 hours per day. That's $16 per day times 5 days in the week. That's $80 per week. If they find you one single product, you are in the green. If that's all they did for the week. So you're able to leverage human resources to actually do the majority of the work so you can make more money while working less hours, and your business can grow while you're doing whatever your heart desires. Look, if I had to start back from 0 to 1 mil, this is exactly to a T what I would do. This is exactly how I'd start from scratch on Amazon in 2020. It's the same wholesale strategy we used to build a real e-commerce business that's generating us cash month after month, year after year, and continuing to grow by selling name brand products. And it's what's working right now in 2025. If you want help setting this up, from finding the right products to sell to locking in those brand deals, we built a step-by-step guide and system to walk you through it. There's a link below where you can book a completely free call with our team, and they'll show you exactly how everything works A to Z. If you got value from this video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be sharing a lot more information on how you can grow and scale your Amazon business in 2025. Everything from tactical breakdowns of how to scale an Amazon FBA business, how to find the right products and suppliers, and literally a step-by-step guide on how you can actually put the right team in place so you can work less hours without trial and error. Hope this helped.